Yeah, first time scoring like that in my career, but just putting pressure on them in their own box, and luckily something positive happened for us. Yeah.
We are going to open the floor for questions now. Ben, kick it off.
Yeah, Alex, 2 games, 2 probably equally good goals from you. I'm curious, obviously the goal went to VAR review. What was going through your mind when it was being reviewed, and what were you trying to communicate to the referee?
Yeah, I mean, in my head, I knew that it really was just the kind of the low upper chest below my armpit. But obviously it was a red mark there. So I was showing him where the mark was. I think that's the most proof that you can get. Luckily he was able to take that into account, and they used the VAR well, because really it was on my upper chest, and I've had a rib issue for a while. And so that was also, I wanted to make sure they knew that's what it was. And, I think that there's been a few times where the VAR has taken goals away from me. So, it evens itself out in the end.
Ben, any follow-up questions?
Yeah, obviously you guys took the lead, and probably a point on the road at the end of the day isn't a bad result. But does the way it happened, with kind of conceding in the last 10 minutes, does that maybe take some of the joy out of it?
Yeah, it's always going to be frustrating when you have 3 points in hand and you don't end up taking them away. I think this was a really hard place to play. DC is a team that's really changed their identity and become a really tough team to play against. And in this atmosphere, it's not easy, especially in the conditions tonight. Field was a little bit choppy, and I think that it was a fair point overall. But yeah, we're hungry and we want to win when we can, and we had the opportunity to. So we're definitely going to look at that and try and learn from it, because these are the games that when you win them, you grind through them. I think it brings the team together even more.
Team, take it away.
Yeah, you mentioned that DC is a different team than they have been in the recent past. What do you see that's different about them? Obviously, they've changed personnel, they've changed coaches, they've done a lot of different stuff. What is kind of on the field the practical takeaway from the ways they've changed?
I think that you kind of have seen that the reignition of a combative team, one that's not going to take any plays off, one that's going to be direct and cause a lot of problems and run for 90 minutes. And I think that's always going to be difficult to play against, especially on their pitch, which is small. It kind of lends itself to that kind of game. And they have players who are willing to run for 90 minutes, Knaus, O'Brien. Their whole midfield is willing to put in the work and to grind out results. So that's never going to be easy, especially when you're at their place.
Team, any other questions?
Yeah, and Ben kind of alluded to it, but not just you personally, but your team has been on a pretty good run here the past couple weeks. Do you feel like this allows you to continue the momentum forward? Do you feel like it maybe slows it down a little bit? How do you feel about, I guess, in the big picture, what this means for how you guys can continue the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's, if I'm not mistaken, with the Open Cup game, that's 6 games unbeaten in a row. I think that's always going to be a positive thing. When you look at the last 5 games, no losses in them, and that make us 6th, I think that makes a big difference. Ultimately, as the season stretches on, you're going to want to get wins sometimes when you could, but the most important thing is that especially when you go away to hard places, that you don't lose. And we really grinded through a really tough game tonight, and I think that that's something that we should be proud of and take confidence from. And now we go back home where we've started to build up a good run of form and go for 3 points again. But ultimately, obviously, the team is unbeaten in 6, so that's kind of the main takeaway.
We got time for 2 more questions. Valer, go for it.
Yeah, Alex, Gary described you as a Swiss Army knife. First of all, do you agree with that, I guess? And then the second part is, do you see yourself better in a certain position than the other, or are you equally, as happy playing either way?
Yeah, I think I've shown that I can be versatile and do a lot of different things. Even within games, we're changing our formation a few times. So I think it's helpful that I'm able to do a few things. I like to play interior, but my whole career I've played on the outside. So I've kind of built up a good understanding of those kind of positions. So I'm obviously just happy to do whatever I can to help the team. And, we have a really deep team. And so I'm sure at some point someone else is going to be up. But while I'm here, I'm trying to make the most of my opportunities. And I think I've started to do that.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Last one.
Sorry. That was 2 parts. So that's kind of cheating.
Okay. Just on a lighter note, we've seen you do that celebration twice now, the same celebration. Can you tell us a little bit about that and where it comes from?
Yeah, it's just me and my buddy Diego back home. This off season, we were in Mexico. We were eating a lot of tacos, and I was gaining some weight. And I think he was like, "Oh, you're getting a belly." So if I score this year, I'm gonna rub the belly. Obviously, it's gone now. We're back in the season, but that's for him. It's my best friend.
Thank you, everybody. Now officially, I appreciate you taking the time, and we look forward to seeing you on Wednesday.
Thanks, guys.